Okay, let's look at caller ID management, especially outbound caller ID. This is very important when you have multiple companies, multiple departments that need to have a specific outbound caller ID unique to that group that is dialing your customers, your other employees, other vendors, however you want to define it. And caller ID management comes in three different capabilities. We can actually have caller ID management, unique caller IDs done at the trunk level. We can have it, and that's also trunk and outbound routes, so you can place it at either one of those. We'll show you that. We also have the ability to do outbound caller ID based off the extension or the endpoint. And we also have the ability to do caller ID by doing feature codes. And this gives you a lot of flexibility. You know, like I said, if you're a multi-tenant environment where you're doing, like, let's say, multiple remote offices for individuals, or you have a organization that has multiple companies inside your business, you need to have, you know, that unique outbound caller ID. So let's go look at this right now. We're going to take a look first at the trunk level. So whenever you make a trunk, especially like, for example, a SIP trunk, you have the ability to put an outbound caller ID. So we're going to go ahead and put in 817-945-3844. If we leave it at this overrides everything. And we also have the ability to force that trunk CID. That means, for example, if someone ever had the ability that could manipulate your system, they could never override it. Or you could block just foreign IDs, like, for example, international numbers. If you were also doing caller name lookups, you could remove that. But if you leave it and allow any CID at the trunk level, that's pretty good. Not only, remember, this trunk level, this is the connectivity to your provider. So like in the SIP environment, this is your SIP service provider. You're telling them, hey, every time I make a call, I want you to always append this outbound caller ID. You can also do this at the route level as well. And the route level gives you the ability also not only to do a caller ID here like we did before, 817-945-3844, but also you can do it with dial patterns as well. So you can actually put a prefix. So let's say you say anytime you dial 8, this is the caller ID I want you to send out on the system. So inside your location there, you could have one phone, for example. Let's say it's a call center agent there. You could have them press an 8 to use this outgoing dial pattern. Let's say you're let's say your Nissan finance company, and you need to track down the people who have financing with you. You can always give that ability to that agent to go from outbound caller ID number by using even a route with a specific prefix that designates it to use that caller ID. So that's really the first way of manipulating your caller ID, is with either a trunk or with an outbound route. Now, the second way to do it is actually go to that endpoint or that extension. So let's say we had an extension and it was our warranties department. We could actually come in there and we could actually put another outbound caller ID. Let's say we had 817-945-3845 this time. And as long as, remember, the trunk or the outbound route is not being set, this user can actually have their own outbound caller ID. So this is very good for, like, for example, if you had a stockbroker, account executive, and you always wanted to have the customer to have that direct outbound caller ID to its customers, that individual endpoint or extension could have that as well. So that's pretty powerful, especially, if you're having a combination of the two, where you're using a outbound caller ID for a unique extension, plus having the ability to maybe use an outbound route and put a prefix digit to go out to another system. So there's two ways of getting outbound caller ID managed. The last way is with your caller ID management. Not only could we do like a digit, but we could also put in a prefix. So we could say sales. If anybody dials star 21 before they dial the number, and let's just say it's Company A, that would be sent out with the caller ID and whatever number you wanted to prefix as well. And by using the caller ID management with the prefixes, now you can have as many as you want. And as long as your internal employees are trained, they know how to dial this prefix to get that outbound caller ID. And one of the good things about the system too is if you check persistent, when that salesperson does a *21 and dials that number, from that point on, all they would have to do is dial the number and it would persistently put that in front of it until they put something else. So this gives you a good way of the first time they do this, they don't have to keep putting the prefix in there to make outbound dials. So this is how we do caller ID management for outbound caller ID manipulation. You have 3 functions, 3 capabilities to do this. And once again, you can use one or all 3 of them in any kind of training, your employees on how to use this. It just gives you more flexibility. And this is one of the great benefits of the Vox IP system. It's ready for multi-tenant, multi-customer, multi-companies. You can really customize this to fit your needs. So we hope you enjoyed watching this video. You learned about outbound caller ID and how to manage it. My name is Steve Baker. We look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you in the next video.